Generation Love was kind of my first attempt at a solo project. And when I first moved here, I was really trying to find my sound, but more importantly, what it is I wanted to talk about with my music. I'm from Oklahoma, so I moved here, and there was a really, really big kind of culture shock with moving to the South. Things that you hear about, but at least we're in my bubble of the world back in Oklahoma, I'd never seen them or experienced them in a very close way. So there was the first year I moved here. Was just experiencing all of this kind of very on the surface sexism and racism, and it prompted me to really focus my music on social issues, because I think that was what was most preeminent in my mind at the time. And so Generation Love kind of became this project that was about speaking to our generation about the potential to address and hopefully, quell a lot of these problems, as opposed to prior generations that have only halfway addressed them. So music for me is a reflection of society. I think that art in general is a reflection of society. And I feel like for the last few decades we've kind of gotten away from that. I think that, not that I have anything wrong with corporate music or big business music. I think that has an important role, but I think it has separated art from grassroots, and therefore it doesn't reflect society as much, which is, in the 1960s, we saw music, probably the last time we saw music reflecting society was in the 1960s and 1970s, where it was at least popular mainstream music was reflecting the culture at large. And I think that music needs to really get back to the roots. And that was one of my goals with this project and with Poison, is to talk about things that are going on right now, that are relevant in people's lives right now, not just in generic things that are going to sell. But on the other side of that, write those things in a way that will sell, so that the culture at large can consume them in a way that they want to. I've been lucky enough to meet some of the best musicians I've ever encountered in the last year. We started working on the CD release. So I've been here about 2.5 years in Nashville. We started working on the CD release, and I collected these musicians, and we started working together and practicing about 2.5, 3 months ago. We started practicing for this show. And at first it was just, the guys that I knew were playing, and we started practicing and getting to know each other. And over the past 2 months, it turned into just a situation where it was my music and my friends were playing along with me, and it turned into our music. And we were all contributing equally to this project. And when it became that point and I just saw the investment and dedication that these guys had and the talent that they brought, it wasn't right. I didn't feel comfortable stepping up in front of an audience saying, "This is Jon Reynolds, I'm responsible for all of these things." So at that point it was like, okay, well, we need to give credit to the musicianship and the commitment and the effort and the talent that is going into this. Chose The Aches for a couple of different reasons. What I tried to do was take 1960s pop, which is kind of nostalgic for its more sexist and more racist time. So I took that sound and I modernized it, but I wanted to maintain that kind of innocent sounding voice, and modernize it. And I wanted to do the same thing with the name. And we actually debated between Heartaches and Aches, and Heartaches had more of a 1960s, true 1960s sound, but The Aches is a very, I think, very Generation Y, millennial, straight cut, to the point, modernized sound to that. I was playing with a blues rock band at the time, and I really wanted to try to go a different direction with my music, and I really wanted to find that topic that I was talking about earlier. Well, I wrote Poison in that genre that I was playing at the time, which was more of a blues rock, but I always loved the song. I thought it was a really great song. So it certainly harkens back to that three-piece blues rock and roll sound that I had years ago, but when I reintroduced it to my Nashville band here as a solo artist, because they'd been playing with me, they kind of knew the new style that I was going for, and they were really able to reinvigorate it and breathe life into it, and kind of explore this mixture of what I used to do and what I do now. And so I think it's a perfect balance of kind of my old style, kind of the history of what I've done musically and what I'm trying to do in the present. And I really got to credit the Aches, the band, for bringing that out, because they're just incredibly talented at what they do. And it's turned out to be a really, really cool single that I think showcases everybody's talent. Let's get weird.